Hi, chemistry students. This is Mrs. Mitzik, and we are going to work on 8.2 today, looking at the result of electron sharing in covalent bonds. Remember, in covalent bonds, electron sharing usually occurs, so atoms attain the electron configuration of noble gases, which was true of ionic bonds too, but here we're sharing electrons rather than transferring electrons. So two atoms held together by sharing one pair of electrons are joined by what's called a single covalent bond. These atoms, like with hydrogen, they're held together mainly by the attraction of the shared electrons to the positive nuclei. Remember, the nucleus is positive, electrons are negative. There you go, they are attracted. Hydrogen gas consists of diatomic molecules. The word diatomic means two atoms. Di means two. So in nature, they actually are shown as being diatomic. You don't usually find atomic hydrogen. It's very reactive. If you look, hydrogen has one valence electron, so they come together very nicely to share those two electrons. Hydrogen is great with only having two because in the first energy level, it only requires two electrons to fill it. So that way it can be like helium. When you're looking at a structural formula, it represents the covalent bonds as dashes and shows the arrangement of covalently bonded atoms. Make sure you know that pair of shared electrons forming the covalent bond is often represented as a dash. Like if you look at H dash hydrogen, you have a pair of shared electrons represented by that dash. Halogens also form single covalent bonds and become diatomic molecules. If you're looking at fluorine, for example, fluorine has 7 valence electrons, and so these two electrons right here love to be shared, and so they form that nice shared covalent bond, single covalent bond. When you're looking at these structures, you also can look at shared pairs and unshared pairs. Okay, unshared pairs are also called lone pairs or non-binding pairs, binding pairs. So right here, this is your shared pair, and you have 1, 2, 3 lone pairs or non-binding pairs or unshared pairs. When we're looking at this then, how many unshared pairs are there on the nitrogen and the chlorine atom? Just count and then get back to me. You can see clearly that on the nitrogen atom you have 1 unshared pair or lone pair, and on the chlorine you have 1, 2, 3 unshared pairs. The oxygen in this case also has 3 unshared pairs. Write down these steps. I'll be going through the steps as I work through the sample problems. So what we're going to do is draw the electron dot structure for hydrochloric acid, or HCl. The very first step, according to what you wrote down, was to figure out your total number of valence electrons. We've got hydrogen here, we have chlorine here, so you have 1 plus 7, you have 8 valence electrons. The next step is to take your compound and you're going to bond all the elements together with a line. Since you have only 2, that's pretty easy. Remember that dash represents 2 electrons. So by doing that, I actually have used up 2, so now I only have 6 valence electrons to account for. I'm going to put them on my terminal atom. According to what you just wrote down, hydrogen is always a terminal atom. Okay? But if you look at hydrogen, hydrogen is already fine. It has 2 electrons. That's what it wants. First energy level requires 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to put those remaining electrons in the chlorine then, because anything else you put on the central atom, any leftover ones. So you put those 6 electrons on chlorine, and then you want to double check to make sure that your nonmetals have 8, except for hydrogen. You see that chlorine has 1 bonding pair, and then it has 3 lone pairs, making it have 8 valence electrons, so it too is happy. So to rewrite it, that's your final dot structure for hydrochloric acid. Notice I have the same number of valence electrons. All I did was just kind of move things around a bit. So I'm going to have you draw the electron dot structure for water, please. Pause the video and have a look. This is what you should have got. You should have hydrogen, and I would more completely do this. Because then I'm showing that I've got a shared pair. Yeah, you can see you've got a shared pair with the two dots, but using a line represents that covalent bond, which is really important. And remember, that is a single covalent bond. So I'd like you to draw the electron dot structure for H2O2. First step, I'm going to take 2 and 2. I have 2 of both of those atoms. That's where the 2's came from. And the 1 and the 6 came from the valence electrons. So I actually have 12 plus 2. I have 14 valence electrons that I have to account for. Now, oftentimes I get people that want to do this. That is very wrong, because hydrogen would end up with 4 electrons. Hydrogen only wants 2. It would never do that. So you're thinking, well, how do I do that? How do I work it? You want hydrogen to be on the end. It's always terminal. And then your oxygen is your central atom. We've put 3 lines in there. That's equal to 6 electrons. I have 8 left. I'm going to put them on the central atoms, not on the hydrogen. Hydrogen's good with just the bond. So I've got 2, 4, 6, 8. Looking at everything, hydrogen is 2, happy. These are happy also, happy. Why? You've got 2, 4, 6, 8. And I'll just show you really quick. This is 2, 4, 6, 8. That oxygen has 2, 4, 6, 8. So that's why they're happy. So to rewrite it, and that's hydrogen peroxide. When you're looking at double and triple covalent bonds, they'll form these in order to attain a noble gas structure. And they'll share 2 or 3 pairs of electrons. If you're sharing 1 pair of electrons, that's a single covalent bond. 2 pair, double, 3 pair, triple covalent bond. And here's your definitions for that. So draw the electron dot structure for a carbon dioxide molecule. Same premise, we're going to find our total number of valence electrons. So I've got 4 for carbon, carbon's right here, oxygen's here. I've got 6 for oxygen, but there's 2 of them, so I've got 16 valence electrons. Our next step is to figure out what our central atom is. Your central atom is going to be the atom that's closest to the metalloid step line. Well, that's clearly carbon, so carbon is my central atom. I've used 4 electrons to put those bonds in there, to bond the oxygen to the carbon, so I have 4 minus 4, so I've got 12 valence electrons left. You always will put your electrons on the terminal atoms first, which is the oxygen. Terminal means to be on the end. So I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. A lot of people would look at this and say, I'm done. Everything's great. But it's not. Why? Oxygen does have 8, so it's good. However, carbon, if you look at it, it only has 2, 4 from those bonding shared pairs. So carbon is not feeling good about things at all. So how do we go about doing this? We are going to steal from the electron rich to share with the poor. And we're going to share the pairs. So it doesn't matter which one with the oxygen. Both oxygens are very rich in electron pairs. So I'm going to steal these, and I'm going to make a multiple bond. So I just move those 2 pairs in to make a double bond. The oxygen, if you notice, it still has 8 electrons. Okay, so it's still happy. However, carbon still is unhappy. It only has 6. So I'm going to steal again from the electron pair rich to share with the poor. So I'm going to share those. And carbon now is happy. It's got 8 around it. So to rewrite that, and you've got 2 double bonds. And on the test, what would happen is I'd give you some compounds, and I would say which of the following has a double bond. You'd have to do dot structures for all of them in order to determine that. And that's just a neater version of what I just did. So I'm going to have you figure out the electron dot structure for nitrogen gas. When you're looking at nitrogen, what happens is it has 5 valence electrons. So you're working with 10 electrons. You can see what's going to happen is that you're going to end up having to do multiple bonding. You're going to share this. Those two will come together to share, and then these two will come together to share also, and you end up with a triple bond. So hopefully you came up with a triple bond, and then you have the 2 lone pairs. What does the octet in the octet rule refer to? 8 of what? It refers to 8 valence electrons, and everything wants to acquire or lose electrons in order to get 8 with ionic compounds, or it wants to share electrons to have 8 with these covalent bonds in chapter 8. One more, I'd like you to draw the electron dot structure for carbon monoxide. And you should have got that. So one more definition, polyatomic ion. The word poly, or that prefix poly, means many. So what you have is you have more than one type of atom in an ion. And collectively, that NH4 positive is a positive ion. It's lost 1 electron. Okay, if you have an NO3, like a nitrate ion, it's -1, which means it gained an electron to get its stable structure. So that entire unit has that charge, not just like with this one, the hydrogen. Those are your key ideas. And here are your definitions. Keep in mind, extra credit, there's level 4 extra credit. I'll put that on another video. So have a good day. Do the practice.